Alright, you people out there, you disappoint me. You haven't seen many movies, you haven't seen any of the new movies that are coming out that I think are awesome. So today I'm going to tell you about, well, pretty much goddamn all of them. Welcome to Foot on Film, Volume 2, Movies You Haven't Seen. This week I will tell you about a bunch of movies that you have yet to see, because I know you haven't seen them, because I've seen them, which means you haven't. Alright, first up is The Boat That Rocked. Now, many of you people might know this movie as Pirate Radio, because that's its US title release, but I know it, and I think you should know it as The Boat That Rocked, because what they did with the American version in the trailers was horrible. This movie is not about Philip Seymour Hoffman. The movie is about the kid. The kid who gets put on the ship where Radio Rock is broadcast from, and then he tries to figure out, and he thinks it's because he's trying to find out who his father is. His father is probably someone on the ship, and he knows that. But it's a good movie, got an amazing soundtrack, almost my vote for soundtrack of the year. And overall, I would say that you definitely need to steal it if you don't rent it. If you like music, then you rent it. If you like movies, then you rent it. If you just want to see it because I told you to see it, then you steal it. Alright, next up we have a movie that I was really excited to see when I finally got to see it, the chance. It's called Moon. It's a sci-fi sort of weird thriller film. It's got Sam Rockwell in it, if you know who that is, and it's got Kevin Spacey's voice. It's about this guy Sam who is on the moon for like a 3-year harvest because of this new fuel they found on the moon to pretty much power everything. And all of a sudden weird shit starts happening, and he starts getting sick, and then he starts seeing stuff, and he doesn't know what's going on. And I'm just gonna tell you, this movie is crazy. This movie, it's a thriller. It's basically a sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's got that sort of feel to it. And music by Clint Mansell, which is one of my favorite composers who does anything for movies. Requiem for a Dream, Smoking Aces, all of the great film soundtracks you can ever think of, he has done, and he was in this one. So this one is a definite steal. Steal this one. I don't think you're gonna rent it, but it's worth a watch anyway. Next up is the one I was going to do this week, and then I decided to do a whole wide spectrum of movies this week. I thought it would be better. Extract, which is Mike Judge's latest film with Jason Bateman. Now, I'm really starting to like everything I see Jason Bateman in. He's just kind of like the all-around, any comedy that he's in, I love. I found out there's going to be an Arrested Development movie, which I'm super psyched for. I can't wait. But Extract has Jason Bateman and Mila Kunis and J.K. Simmons, if you know who that is. But it's got a lot of cool. It's got a lot of actors you see in other films in it, you know, that are good at comedy. And Mike Judge, he's just good at writing comedy. Like, he's good at, you know, you remember him from Office Space, you know, Idiocracy, which recently came to Comedy Central. Everyone loved it. But yeah, great movie. I liked it. I would say steal over rent, because if you're not a big Mike Judge fan, then you might be too into it. But it's still funny nonetheless. That's all I gotta say about that. Alright, next up we have Perfect Getaway, which has Steve Zahn, Mila Jovovich, yeah, she was from Resident Evil, and Timothy Olyphant. All amazing in this movie. They all do a great job. This is it's kind of a suspense thriller. It's a suspense film because you're trying to figure out, there's about 3 couples you meet, and one of the 3 couples is the killers. They're going around to the islands in Hawaii and killing people. And it's just the thing, if you don't know who it is, you don't understand the reasons behind it, but everything everyone does starts to seem suspicious in this movie. And it was a surprise to me when I saw it, and I think it will be for you too, so it's a definite rent. I liked it in theaters, and I liked it on DVD. You need to rent it and watch it. Turn the lights out, turn the lights down. If you got one of them little dimmer switches, you just go, and then lights down, then lights are back up. Definite rent. Alright, my next one may seem like an odd pick for you guys, but it was 500 Days of Summer. And I know what you're thinking, Ian, why the hell would you want to see that? Why would you watch that movie? Because I figured it was going to be a great movie. I mean, it's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is one of my all-time favorite actors ever since I first saw him. And then there is also Zoe Deschanel, French something. and it wasn't a love story. They told you that from the beginning. This wasn't a love story. They did a lot of cool visual things with this movie. The way they shot it, the way they edited together, the perception versus reality things of it were amazing. I liked the whole thought process of this movie. It was really brilliantly written. The ending I thought was funny, and it was a good movie. On the side of steal, unless you have a girlfriend, and then I would say rent, because they don't really approve of you stealing movies. Alright, next up we have a movie that I had the privilege of seeing in theaters recently. It's The Men Who Stare at Goats, which has Jeff Bridges, Ewan McGregor, and George Clooney in it, which, amazing cast so far. Kevin Spacey was also in this one. He was kind of the weird jerk throughout the most of the film. But the movie follows Ewan McGregor and George Clooney around in the present while also flashing back to what had happened in the past a lot. And it was about like the secret underground government agency that was trying to train psychic warriors. The movie was really funny. There was a lot of satire in it, a lot of witty humor that I think everyone will like. There's just a lot of jokes that everyone can get. I think it might have been rated R, but that's no reason to not see it. It's definitely a steal. Now, for me, I would say personally, if you like movies and you understand what I'm talking about with all these films, I would say rent it. But if not, it's still worth a watch. Alright, and lastly, I have a film that I went and saw in theaters, and then it just recently came. It's coming to DVD here real soon. It's called Surrogates. It's got Bruce Willis in it, and it's kind of it's a sci-fi film, a little sci-fi action film where everyone uses the robotic bodies instead of their own to live their lives. Kind of cool. Really cool concept. I liked how the concept worked throughout the whole thing. It was actiony. There was a lot of action, but I don't know. I wish there was more to it. Like the story wasn't as in-depth as I wanted it to be. The characters were kind of slightly shallow, in my opinion. So that one is it's a steal if you heard about it and you wanted to see it. But if not, then it's a pass. It might be just a pass. And now I'm going to tell you about movies that are coming out that you also need to see. And I'll link the trailers to you. They'll be over in the sidebar down there, over there. I'm not real sure which side it's going to be on. My left and my rights get mixed up a lot. But trailers that you need to see, and then for the movies that you're going to want to see. It goes along with the movies you should see that I have seen. Kick-Ass is the first one, and that is it's basically a story from the comic. It's based on a comic book about a kid who has no superpowers and loves comic books and decides to become a vigilante named Kick-Ass. His friends start to go in with him, and then trouble starts, and up next we have Legion, which is kind of a apocalyptic angels movie with Paul Bettany in it. It looks really amazing. Paul Bettany comes down from heaven, and he has to try and save mankind because God is basically sending all the angels to wipe out mankind. And then In Revolt is next. This one has what's his name in it? Michael Cera, he's been doing a lot. He's kind of like split personalities a little bit to try and get this girl, and a lot of bad things happen in the process. It just looks really cool. It looks really funny, and it's just the kind of humor that I think I would like. The Book of Eli is another one that I really want to see. It was based on the book, and it has Denzel Washington in it in a role I didn't really see Denzel Washington playing. And it looks really cool. It's like a quite epic movie about towards like the end of mankind kind of feel for it, and it just looks dark and gritty. And alright, so that's it for this week. All the videos I've shown you. Put the links in the sidebar for those trailers I told you about. Go get the movies I told you to get. Watch them. Let me know what you think. Let me know what movies I should be doing this week. So that's it. Foot signing off. Now's your chance to run for cover.